map of protected lands in the Mount Diablo area looks like this today, but in the 1980s it was a lot less green. Morgan Territory Regional Preserve was small. Los Vaqueros Watershed and Round Valley Regional Preserve didn't exist. Save Mount Diablo was fighting a quarry proposal and working toward making the 5-mile connection between Morgan Territory and Mount Diablo State Park across Riggs Canyon. The Park District and Save Mount Diablo had options to buy property that would help them reach that goal, but they didn't have the money. So in 1988, with a park bond issue on the upcoming ballot, Save Mount Diablo decided to dramatize what was at stake. The organization staged and publicized an audacious backpack trip from Walnut Creek to Brentwood. The route connected established parks like Mount Diablo and Morgan Territory with what the organization hoped would be the parks of the future.
We talked about it as the quote-unquote Diablo Trail when there was really nothing there, and we envisioned it as a way to showcase and advertise this effort we were in the middle of. Bob Walker was famous for his relationship with the East Bay Regional Park District helicopter pilots, and when they had a clear day they would call him and he would hop a ride and take amazing photos. So he had the helicopter pilots drop food and water in 2 remote sites for our camping spots. And our first night was in Oyster Point. Our second night was on the Prairie Falcon Cliffs right over here. And then we ended in Round Valley. Bob Doyle met us with beer at the end of the trail, and that was the beginning, the Diablo Trail in our mind's eye.
The 2 bond issues that passed in 1988, one statewide and the other local, solved the problem of finding funds to buy the lands that East Bay Parks and Save Mount Diablo had optioned.
Very quickly, pieces of property got acquired, and it was possible to piece together that trail from existing fire roads with just a very few trail additions and enhancements.
Adams staged another hike along more or less the same route in 1993.
And we again put it into reality by exciting people's imagination. The whole time this was all about demonstrate why connecting these big landscape level efforts is going to be something that people will love. That was the Diablo Trail. And then 20 years ago now, we started putting together a cushy gourmet hiking trip along the Diablo Trail that we called 4 Days Diablo. 20 people would come along. We would have local restaurants come in and make the meals. You'd be met as you walked into camp with hot and cold wash rags and soft drinks and glasses of wine, and you'd end up having a white tablecloth dinner somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
The 4 Days Diablo tradition has continued to this day, and now, after decades of hard work, all the lands along the trail are protected. It's a stunningly beautiful trip, led by people with encyclopedic knowledge of this place and its history. You can also explore the Diablo Trail on your own via day trips or multi-day backpacks. You can start at either the eastern or western end, or in the middle at Morgan Territory. There's a map to help you plan on Save Mount Diablo's website.
So we're here up in the headwaters of Marsh Creek, and this is a place where you can come even in the middle of summer to stay cool because you're protected by all these plants around you. Here's a big leaf maple tree right next to me. Giant valley oaks grow down here in the canyon. Of course, poison oak, so you want to be careful. But this is an example of one of the places that you'll pass through if you decide to take a multi-day backpack trip through this part of the East Bay Regional Parks. You could start here at Morgan Territory and hike all the way down and along Marsh Creek, up through the state park of Mount Diablo, and you can camp along the way. If you want to go out Round Valley that way, you can go that way. If you want to continue out into the Contra Costa Water District and Los Vaqueros, you can go out that way. All these lands are now protected together, so we really encourage you to come out and enjoy them.
Morgan Territory lies at the heart of the East Bay Park story. It made the Diablo Trail possible, which in turn revealed what a spectacular landscape we live within, and what an incredible conservation story we're part of. Walk the Diablo Trail, and you'll know in your bones that we've moved beyond the idea of island parks in a sea of development. In fact, our communities are increasingly rimmed by a sea of parks. These parks were established in part as an amenity for humans. But in this time of climate change, they could mean survival for many native plants and animals. They offer hope in a time of distress.
There are plenty of places where people have watched as the landscape they loved was lost. It was fragmented, it was pieced away, and one farm after another goes by the wayside, and it's just considered part of the way things happen.
But here in the East Bay, people have had a different reaction. We've voted for tax measures that made parks and trails a priority. Each park has its own individual heroes, but in Morgan territory, some of the most notable people are Hewlett Hornbeck, Manfred Lindner, Robert Doyle, Bob Walker, and Roger Epperson. They walked this land and knew its secrets. They progressed from knowing this place to loving it to working to protect it. Their dedication put Morgan territory on the map. But the story's not over. There's still a lot to do. Write letters in support of continued park expansion. Check out the hikes and restoration projects of Save Mount Diablo and East Bay Parks. Get involved.
Some places are awe-inspiring, and it's easy to understand the sense of place that develops there. The Grand Canyon, Yosemite. Some places become special because of the connections we make of them. Central California and Northern California Indians said Mount Diablo was where the world was created, and so this became a sacred place. They could see it from a long way off. Georgia O'Keeffe's Pedernal, the butte, not unlike 100 other buttes within 50 miles, but the one she could see from her studio at the Ghost Ranch in New Mexico. She painted it so many times, she made it important to us. And Morgan territory, the regional parks, the Bay Area landscape, they are spectacular. But a lot of their importance lies in all of the people who developed a sense of place here and have invested them with care and love. When you think about all the people who come before us and had a hand in protecting this place, there are constant companions, and they're here with us, whether it's Hewlett Hornbeck or Manny Lindner, and we got a falcon flying by. 2 falcons. Yeah, that's perfect.